Hello, my name is Divine Senano Ametefe, and today I'll be presenting the progress of my work. The title of my research is Modeling of a Live Fingerprint Generalization Model using Semi-Supervised Advanced Field-Learned One-Class Classifier for Fingerprint Presentation Attack Detection, and I'm being supervised by Dr. Suzy Seroja Binti Sane and Associate Professor Damawati Binti Mohad Ali. Background of the study. Due to the ever-increasing number of people in our societies, everyone needs to be identified in order to uphold the issue of privacy and security. As a result, access control has been harnessed as a major tool to check the issue of privacy and security. Over the years, there have been some traditional mechanisms of human identification which involve the use of pins, cards, username, password, and tokens as a tool for access control. However, despite the advantages associated with the usage of these traditional means of human identification, there are some setbacks in that they can easily be forgotten, stolen, duplicated, or replaced. This has led to the introduction of biometrics. Biometrics simply has to do with the identification of individuals based on their physiological or behavioral characteristics. Physiological characteristics such as the use of fingerprint, iris, face geometry, and so on. Behavioral characteristics such as your voice, or your handwritten signature, and so on. Unlike the traditional means of human identification, which deals with what you know, such as your username and password, or what you have, your pins or tokens, biometric totally eradicates this requirement and offer benefits such as simplicity, that is, it is very easy to use, uniqueness, all biometric modalities are distinct from one individual to another, flexibility, one can be able to move around with his biometric modality, permanence, no one can change his biometric modality. However, despite these advantages, there are some disadvantages associated with the use of biometrics. One is lack of secrecy. No one can be able to conceal his biometric characteristics. Irreplaceable. Due to the permanent nature of biometric modalities, you cannot replace your biometric modality. And finally, they are also vulnerable to spoofing attacks. Among all biometric modalities, the fingerprint is the most used biometric modality. Problem statement. Presentation attack is the most common form of attack inflicted on fingerprint biometric scanners. And this form of attack involves attackers making use of various ubiquitous spoofing materials such as wood glue, latex to fabricate spoofs of fake fingerprints so as to present them to the biometric scanner in order to circumvent the system. As a result, various hardware-based and software-based methods have been put in place to help remedy this concern. With the hardware-based method, this involves the integration of various sensors to be able to capture other live human features at the point of fingerprint authentication. But attackers fabricate thin layered spoofs, which when they present to the biometric scanner, the scanner or the sensors are able to capture their other live human characteristics, and as a result they are able to bypass the system. And as a result, this has led to the inception of the software-based technique. The software-based technique involves the extraction of salient inherent fingerprint features and the cognitive learning of these features so as to use them as discriminating tools against spoofed fingerprints. Despite the robustness of the software-based technique, there are still concerns with its training process. Because the number of fingerprint spoofing materials is basically unknown. When a model is being trained on live fingerprint and fake fingerprints made from a particular set of fingerprint materials, and during the testing phase, when it is being tested on a new fake fingerprint or spoofing materials, such a model results in high classification errors. Research objectives. First is to find out the various intrinsic features that are ideal at the global, local, and fine levels of the live fingerprint, so as to use these features as discriminating tools against spoofs. Second is to evaluate the robustness of binary and multiple class classifier in the classification of known and unknown fingerprint spoofing materials. And third is to model a one-class classifier for the generalization of unknown spoof fingerprint, so as to complement the deficiency of binary and multiple class classifiers. And lastly is to validate the proposed one-class classifier to other state-of-the-art one-class classifier in the confines of cross-material detection. Literature review. As highlighted earlier, there are two major approaches which are being used to avert the issue of fingerprint presentation attack. They encompass the hardware-based and the software-based technique. As you can see from study 1 to 4, they made use of the hardware-based technique, which involved the integration of various sensors to capture other live human features at the point of fingerprint authentication. But this technique, although reliable, they are not suitable in places where there is unsupervised access. And on the other hand, the software-based technique can be divided into two categories, namely the one classifier model and the binary or multiple class classifier models. The binary and the multiple class classifier models are mostly robust on known fingerprint spoofing materials. However, they fall short when it comes to cross-material detection or novel spoof detection, while the one-class classifier is mostly robust in generalization of unknown materials. However, studies have shown that there's still room for improvement in the development of one-class classifier, especially with the true detection rate of models. Research and methodology. The methodology of this research is designed to satisfy the various set objectives. The first objective, which is to unravel the various inherent or intrinsic features that are ideal to live fingerprint, we made use of various extant literature to be able to garner the various features that are ideal at the global level, which we found it consists of the ridges and valley of the fingerprint, and then the local level we discovered the minutiae points, and then for the fine level involves features such as the sweat pore. These are more complex features, but for the sake of this study we made use of a combination of the global and local features as our discriminating tool against spoofs using the length feature process. And next, for the second objective, which is to evaluate the robustness of the binary and multiple class classifiers, unknown and unknown spoofing materials, we modeled two classifiers, the binary classifier and the multiple classifier. For the binary classifier, spoofing material consists of a combination of 12 spoofing materials, while for the multiple class classifier consists of 7 spoofing materials. We made use of the deep transfer learning to be able to model both models. And for the third objective, which is to model a one-class classifier, we decided to come up with a model which is able to create a robust boundary of what constitutes what is live, so as to discriminate against any other kind of fingerprint material which is not live, which is not the case in the case of multiple and binary class classifier, as you can see from the figure. And for our one class classifier, we came up with an adversary length one class classifier which is based on the generative adversary network, but trained in a semi-supervised paradigm. Our model has two distinctions from existing models. First, we make use of the discriminator as the final classifier and not the generator. And also, the generator here is only used as a means of generating, or is used to produce variations of fake fingerprints, which is being used by the discriminator to learn about variations of fake. Hence, training is stopped when the generator is able to produce adequate fake variations of fingerprints and sent to the discriminator. So therefore, during the training process of the discriminator, which is the final classifier, it is being trained on 3 different inputs. First is the unlabeled samples, which consists of real fingerprints. The labeled samples also consists of real fingerprints, and then the generator samples. These generator samples are those produces fake fingerprint samples, which being used by the discriminator to learn about the various variations of fake fingerprints. We made use of the LiveDate 2015 data set because of the generative process requires quality images, which is not produced, or which is not the case with LiveDate competition data set 2009, 2011 and 2013. Also, here is the mathematical modeling of the proposed adversary length 1 class classifier. Also, here we conducted our experiment on 9 different spoofing materials, which were captured by 5 different fingerprint readers. And here is the result of the binary class classifier model performance on known and unknown spoofing materials. The number of spoofing materials we used here were 12 spoofing materials. And for the evaluation of the accuracy of the model on known materials, what we did was that we did not exempt any spoofing material during the training, while when we wanted to evaluate for the unknown material or cross material detection, we exempted the material we wanted to test during the testing phase. So as you can see, it is evident that the cross material performance of the binary classifier is not as robust as compared to its performance on known materials. Also, here is the results of the multiple class classifier model performance on known and unknown spoofing fingerprint materials. We follow the same step as the evaluation of the binary classifier, but here we made use of 7 spoofing fingerprint materials, and just like the binary classifier evaluation, for evaluating the accuracy on known materials, we trained the model on the 7 spoofing materials. So that means we did not exempt any material. And then for testing or for evaluating the model accuracy on known material, we exempted the particular material we wanted to use during the testing. As you can see, just like the binary classifier performance on unknown material, you can see the multiple class classifier model accuracy also produces a low performance, or do I say poor performance, as compared to the performance on known spoofing materials. And finally, here are the results of the proposed adversary length 1 class classifier on cross material or novel spoofs. As you can see from here, from the accuracy, the final accuracy, or do I say overall accuracy, you can see that it is evident that the resultant accuracy offered by the 1 class classifier supersedes that of the binary and the multiple class classifier in the aspect of cross material detection or non-material detection, which shows that 1 class classifier models are more robust than binary and multiple class classifier in the aspect of cross material detection. And lastly, to validate the robustness of our model, we compared our model with other state-of-the-art models, and results show that our model offers accuracies an accuracy that is comparable to state-of-the-art models. Here is Gantt chart. Publication status. Here are the list of publications so far. Some are under review. These are some of the collaborations. Most of them are still under review. And this is the thesis writing status. These are the percentages I've reached so far. The plan for next semester. So next semester, plan to submit the intention to submit thesis, and also try to update the thesis from chapter 1 to 5, and also to format the thesis to the format set by the IPSIS, and also thesis proofreading, and then finally to prepare for final defense. Thank you very much.